Hello, Oupa se seuns. Are you all right? It's you're on your way to bed, so I'm not going to be too long, spend too much time, or waste your time. I think when we read from the Bible or discuss the Bible stories, I think we are being positive, trying to get to know God and the way He operates and the stuff that He's done in the past, so that we can learn by hearing about it or speaking about it. We have been talking about the kings of Israel. We heard that Israel broke up into two parts. There's the northern Israel, and then Judah in the south. Where the head office or where the temple was built in Jerusalem. And so the kings came and they went. Some of them started well by, doing what God wanted them to do, rule according to God's law, and other ones, they went astray and would then go the idol side. So they would worship idols. We are carrying on by reading about the prophet Elijah. So it's going to be mostly about Elijah. So one king after the other, as we said. And after King Omri died, his son Ahab became the king of Israel. And he married a woman called Jezebel. Now, maybe you've heard of Jezebel. She was a princess from Sidon, and she worshipped false idols, and specifically the god named Baal. So under her influence, so had a big influence over the king. The king Ahab built a temple for Baal, and Jezebel then got together all her prophets, and she supported more than 450 prophets. Well, false prophets. And at the same time, she was trying to kill God's prophets. So God sent His prophet Elijah. Remember, I said we're going to speak about Elijah. And He sent Elijah to the king, to Ahab, to tell him that there would be no rain or dew for years and years because of his sin. To keep Elijah safe, God sent him to a stream because it's dry land. And remember now, there's a famine. It's dry, there's no rain. But God looked after Elijah by sending him to a specific stream where there was water. And the little stream's name was Kerith. So every morning and every evening the ravens brought Elijah bread and meat to eat. And the stream would then give him water. So God looked after His prophet Elijah by supporting him in this way. But when the stream dried up, God sent him to a widow in Zarephath. And even though she was very poor, she had a jar of flour and a bottle of oil that never ran out. Because when he got to her, she said to him, I can't even support myself. How will I support you as well? And he said, don't fear. Believe in God. And this is what happened. She had only this little bit of flour and the small bottle of oil, but although she made food every day for the both of them, the oil never ran out and the flour never ran out. It just kept on going. So we call, I think there's a saying that says that the widow's the widow's food never runs out, something like that. Later, when her son died, it was her and her son, right? So she was supporting her and her son, and she complained when Elijah wanted to stay there that she can't even support herself and her son. But anyway, so when her son died, Elijah prayed, and God brought the boy back to life. So if you think about it, Elijah brought somebody back from the dead. Of course, it's God. Even when Jesus brought people back to life, it's God. He was God, or is God. So in this case, Elijah then brought this boy back to life. The boy of the widow who looked after him, and whose oil and flour never finished. Never ran out, is the right word, I think. So after 3 years of no rain, Elijah challenged the prophets of Baal, it's now Jezebel's prophets, to a contest. Remember how many there were? 450? A lot. And he challenged them to a contest on Mount Carmel. They built 2 altars, one for Baal and one for God, or one for the Lord. And Elijah said that the true God would be the one who answered with fire. So they remember on this altars, they put meat, because they're going to now bring an offering to their gods. The one offering would go to Baal, and the other one to the living God. So now Elijah said to them, if your God, you are not allowed to to burn these offerings yourself with your fire. Your God needs to bring fire from somewhere to consume the meat. And now, this was the challenge, eh? So now the prophets shouted and prayed to Baal all day. But, of course, nothing happened. And then Elijah built his altar and poured a huge amount of water over the sacrifice, the meat, and the wood. Remember that would start the fire. So they put the wood there, put the offering on top, the animal, or whatever it is. And then when Elijah only prayed once, fire fell from heaven, and it burnt up the sacrifice. It burnt the wood. It even melted the stones, and of course even the water. Then the people shouted, "The Lord, He is God." And the false prophets were all killed. And soon after, a tiny cloud appeared, and a massive rainstorm ended the drought. So very good, the whole of the story of Elijah and the false prophets and this offering and how these false prophets were killed is a very interesting story to read word for word from the Bible. It's something that we will definitely do at some point. So Queen Jezebel was angry, and she threatened to kill Elijah. So he fled again to the desert. He was so tired and sad that he asked God to just leave him there so that he could die. And then God sent an angel who fed him, who gave him food and water and stuff. And he then went to Mount Horeb. There God showed him his power through a great wind, an earthquake, a fire. And when Elijah looked at all these signs going past him, he was sitting in a hole in the mountain. What do you call a grot? And he looked and saw these signs of the wind and the fire and the stuff passing the mouth of this hole, and he could not see God. And then suddenly a soft rustling of wind went past, and there he saw God, and he covered his eyes because he didn't want to see God from the front. So he waited until the wind passed, and he looked from behind, and he saw God. Then God encouraged him and also told him to find a man named Elisha, because he would be the next prophet. Right, so I think we'll read this far, and then tomorrow we'll just read another section. Let me just see how much that we on 10 minutes. Let's quickly do this part about Naboth, his vineyard. So Ahab wanted a vineyard belonging to a man named Naboth. That was on a piece of land, and the king saw this vineyard, and he wanted the vineyard. It was not his, it was the vineyard of Naboth. But Naboth wouldn't sell it. And Jezebel had Naboth killed. She killed him so that her husband, the king, Ahab, could get it. And Elijah came to Ahab, the king, and told him that what he did was very bad. It's a crime. He murdered through Jezebel. And that this is now the prophet Elijah's message to the king, he, the king, and his wife Jezebel would die a gruesome death. And later, during a war, Ahab was hit by an arrow and died just as Elijah predicted. Now, what is interesting, at the end of Elijah's life, he already worked with Elisha. I think he trained him, so it was like Elijah was his rabbi or his teacher, and the two of them went down to the Jordan River. Elijah hit the water with his cloak, and it split so that they could walk across because they wanted to be on the other side. And suddenly, this was at the end of Elijah's days. I mean, he knew it was time for him to go. And suddenly, a chariot of fire and horses of fire appeared, and Elijah was taken up into heaven in a whirlwind. Elisha saw all of this happen, and then after that, so he took over Elijah's work as the new prophet of Israel. So if we think about it, there's nobody else who was taken up into heaven alive. He was still alive. He was near the end of his time, but he was alive, and then he was taken up into heaven. Isn't that amazing? So Elijah was the only person that we know of that was taken up into heaven alive. It's amazing. All right, I think that's it for today. We'll speak again tomorrow, God willing. You must sleep tight, and remember, Oupa and Oma love you guys. And I see maybe I've cut off my head for a while because I can't see my picture when I record. But anyway, you know what's going on. Sleep tight, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Love you too. Bye-bye.